All right, knife lovers, knife aficionados, knife collectors. This is video number 2 from Scrim, and I feel like I need to kind of pick up where I left off with all my ranting and raving and complaining in video number 1, but I'm still going to keep them short because they're just easier to digest if these vids don't get too long. If you've seen my first video, which is on the Custom Knife Factory Sequoia, which even though I complained a lot about a few issues, is a beautiful knife, beautifully made, and works flawlessly, and I'm very happy with it. And what I was complaining about was some of the things that Custom Knife Factory did, and a lot of it really wasn't even about the Sequoia. It was about a prior purchase of a spectacular knife that I have right here, which I'm sure many of you have seen. A lot of people have already done videos on them, so I'm not going to get into too many of the details and specs and things. But this is the way it comes from Custom Knife Factory, and in one of those lovely tricolor pouches. But in the pouch you find this, a certificate of authenticity, which I will get into in a couple of minutes. I'll set that over here for now. And their beautiful product, their beautiful mid-tech, the Decepticon, which is, aside from being a beautiful knife and a functional knife, really a piece of art. I mean, it's incredible. I own a lot of flippers, and you know, the action's great, the materials are great, the milling and the layering of the titanium is great. I mean, it's just an amazing piece. I'm trying to get it all into the frame because I'm trying to give you guys as close a look as possible. If you really want to get into the nuts and bolts, there's other videos that do that. I'm going to talk about more global issues, but it is a wonderful knife. So let me set that here and explain why I was so aggravated. And I think this is relevant to all knife collectors and our expectations of clear information, honesty from manufacturers and dealers. And here's the problem. It's not so much with the knife, but when I bought this, I maybe was a little bit naive, and I believed exactly what was written on the certificate of authenticity. Hopefully this is in focus. And as you see, it says 1 of 300. Now, I made an assumption that maybe a lot of you might make, thinking, wow, how fortunate was I to find one for sale that is number 1 of 300. Now, true, it is not stamped on the blade. It does, on the back spacer, it just says limited run of 300. But, you know, it's a Custom Knife Factory's COA. So when it says 1 of 300, I, of course, believed it was 1 of 300. Then, several weeks after owning it, I saw another beautiful Decepticon come up for sale on Blade Forums. And there was some nice photography of the knife and of its COA, and to my shock and awe, it too said 1 of 300. So, I'm thinking, how is this possible? Is mine a fake? Is the sellers on Blade Farms a fake? Is there something funky going on with the COAs? So I figured I'd go right to the horse's mouth, and I emailed Mikhail at Custom Knife Factory, who is very responsive and seems to be a good guy. And I wrote him about this, and I also wrote him about the condition that the pouch of my Sequoia showed up in. It was, in fact, in that condition when I got it. I don't know if you recall, but it starts off the other video. It was all kind of torn and sliced up, and the seams were ripping apart. And I found that a little shocking as well. So let me read to you his response, because I think that you'll find it interesting. Hello, Greg. You're the second man with the pouch damaged. Looks like it happens in Russian post. I hate it, period. I also mentioned that on the Sequoia I tried to adjust the pivot, and the pivot cap on the opposite side of the knife just turned in sync with the pivot with the Torx adjustment hole that you pop your Torx driver into to tighten or loosen the pivot, which I was absolutely unable to do because both sides were just spinning in unison. So he answered that as well. He said, yes, the pivot screw, he's talking now about the Sequoia, is fixated with special paste. There's a language barrier, so I'm just going to read to you exactly what he wrote to me. He said, now back to the issue of the COA and the numbering system, which I felt was a little deceptive. ironically, on the Decepticon. He goes on to say, yes, I understand the misunderstanding because of our English knowledge. We should have written every different number on every knife. We do not know how to translate it correctly. Limited run 300 or, quotes, 300 made. Anyway, only 100 pieces left to sell. Second Decepticon, Decepticon 2, we will mark as you said, 1 of 300, 2 of 300, etc., and all limited series in the future. We understand our mistake and regret. Thank you, Greg. My best, Mike. So, you know, you can't really argue with that. Either it was an honest mistake or they thought it was a good idea initially. So, in fact, everybody that has a Decepticon 1 has one of these, and it says 1 of 300 because it is one knife of a 300 knife run. So there you go. I guess I can stop ranting about that. Fantastic knife, fantastic action, bearings. I also did ask him in an earlier email if they're caged bearings on the Decepticon and another knife I got from him. I can't remember what it is right now, but early on he said no, they're not caged. He said, but in all future models they will be caged. So I dare not ever take this apart. It's certainly not going to get a lot of hard use, if any use at all, because it is just a spectacular piece, a collector piece, and I'm very happy with it. And I'm getting over my my issues with the COA because I have to. So this is just a quick little nugget of information video about a beautiful knife from a company that is putting out nice stuff, and I think they're trying, and I do grant them some slack because of the language barrier. So there you have it. Please go ahead and leave any comments, likes, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more of these. This is only number 2 of hopefully many. Hope you enjoyed it, and would love to hear from you guys and gals, anybody that loves knives, especially flipper knives, my favorite. I've got a lot of really cool knives I want to do videos on and give people a close-up look at to share with the knife community. So on to the next video after this one. I'll post this one soon. Again, appreciate comments, thoughts, suggestions, your experiences. All that can be left in the comments section. Love the likes. Hope you subscribe. And we'll be talking to you via the next video. Thanks.